A certain scholar said that you are what you eat. If you want to have good health, you must consume nutritious and safe food. And safe food can have all the nutrients that your body requires, but the contaminants in that food can make you ill. Remember, unsafe food can also cause death. However, it is very important that you always ensure that the food you prepare for yourself, your family, or the market is safe for use. It is the responsibility of government, producers, and consumers to ensure that food eaten is safe. World Food Safety Day is marked on 7th June every year. The aim of this day is to inform people about the importance of consuming safe food, as well as practices that have to be observed during food production to prevent contamination and occurrence of foodborne diseases as well as deaths. Examples of foodborne diseases are typhoid and cholera. Food can be contaminated anywhere along food production line, that is, can be in the farm, kitchen, or at the table. So you must have systems in place that can help you to prevent food contamination. In this video, I'm going to discuss the following key points about food safety. Number 1, I'll talk about things that can make your food unsafe for consumption. Number 2, I'll talk about dangers of consuming unsafe food. And finally, I'll talk about measures that can be implemented in your home as well as in food production factories to ensure that food prepared is safe. Anything that can make food unsafe for consumption is referred to as hazard. Food hazards are categorized into 3, that is biological hazards, chemical hazards, and physical hazards. We'll start with biological hazards. Under biological hazards, we have microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. Remember, we have good and bad microorganisms. Good or beneficial microorganisms like Lactobacillus bulgaricus found in yogurt are not hazards since they cannot harm human beings. But harmful microorganisms like Escherichia coli and Clostridium botulinum are hazards because if they are in the food, they cause foodborne illness or death. Microorganisms cause illness in humans either by infection or intoxication. Foodborne infections are caused by swallowing live microorganisms and the reaction of the body tissues to their presence. For example, improperly cooked pork can have Salmonella typhi, and if you consume this improperly cooked meat, this bacteria will enter your body, making your body get typhoid disease. While foodborne intoxication is caused by swallowing toxins produced by microorganisms that grow on food. For example, a fungi called Aspergillus flavus grow on damp cereals and produce toxin called aflatoxin. Aflatoxin can cause cancer and also can lead to death. The second group of food hazards I've said is chemical hazards. Examples of chemical hazards are pesticides, animal drugs, allergens, detergents, biotoxins, and overused ingredients like preservatives. Most chemicals used along food production line help us to kill pests and pathogens, prevent food spoilage, and enhancing the quality of food. But these chemicals can be harmful to humans if their use are not controlled or the recommended treatment rate are exceeded. Chemicals can cause burns, cancer, and liver failure. Remember, it is the work of liver to detoxify your body, so it can be overworked if your body receives excess chemicals. The final group of food hazards is physical hazards. Examples of physical hazards are glass, wood, metal, plastic, stones, hair, insects, bones, and nails. Physical hazard can cause choking and injury. The following are practices that have to be observed in your home as well as in any food production setup to ensure that food prepared is safe. The first practice is controlling storage and handling conditions of food. That is, store food in cool, dry place since moisture and high temperatures accelerate the growth of microorganisms which spoil food. Next, equipment holding food must be enclosed or covered to avoid physical hazards from falling into the food. Next, use the right amount of chemicals in food production setup. In addition, only use food-grade chemicals. Next, cook food thoroughly to kill microorganisms and their spores. Next, separate raw food from cooked or processed food products to avoid cross-contamination. Next, regulate the use of pesticides and fertilizers, since excess of these are washed to water bodies, affecting the quality of water we use. Next, always wash fruits and vegetables before use. Remember, fruits are consumed raw, while most vegetables like kales are partially cooked. It is therefore important to thoroughly wash them to remove almost all the hazards that are on their surface. Next, individuals with communicable diseases should not work in areas where food contamination is possible. Next, food handlers must follow the following good personal hygiene practices. Number 1, wear protective clothing like white uniforms, hairnet, disposable gloves, and face masks. Number 2, clean and sanitize hands and gloves before handling food. Number 3, people should not wear any jewelry when they are handling food. Number 4, wear non-absorbent gloves when the job requires hand covering. Number 5, food handlers must keep their nails short, since long nails carries dirt and microorganisms. Number 6, eat, drink, or smoke only in designated areas. The next preventive measure that has to be applied in our homes or any food production setup is, do not use utensils or equipment that are able to leach chemicals and metals to hold or prepare food. The best equipment are those made up of stainless steel. Next, ensure that withdrawal periods are observed after use of pesticides in plants and antibiotics in animals. Next, the homes or food production facilities and their surroundings must be kept clean to prevent contamination of food and water supply. Next, food production facilities must not have flies, cockroaches, and rats because these act as carriers of pathogens. Next, equipment holding food as well as machines that process food should be thoroughly cleaned and sanitized before and after use. Next, food production plants must have a laboratory whose function is to test and analyze raw materials, water used, products along processing line, as well as final product produced, so that if a hazard is detected, processing is stopped and corrective measures are applied. This will reduce losses and production of unsafe food. And finally, magnets should be installed at the entry of raw materials and exit of final product to trap any metallic object that can be in their food. As I said earlier, it is the responsibility of everybody to ensure that food consumed is safe. For consumers, if you observe that your food has changed in color, odor, and texture, kindly don't eat it. It's better to incur losses or remain hungry than consuming unsafe food which can affect your health. Again, before you buy any food product, you must check its expiry date. Do not buy expired product. For producers, kindly value the health of your buyers more than money. If your food is rendered unsafe, kindly throw it away. Let us not only take care of our health but also be concerned about the health of your fellow citizens. Food producers must also train employees effectively on hygiene, sanitation, and pest control. For the government, it must have a well-funded standard regulatory organization like Kenya Bureau of Standards, and this organization must always randomly sample food products from the market and analyze to determine the quality of food that is in the market. In case the food analyzed is unsafe, all the food products of that particular company must be removed from the market. Regulatory organization must also check food safety systems of every food production setup to ensure that the safety of food produced in our country is not compromised.